And how we know Anastasia is from our good friend Costa over here, her husband. And they're actually both iconographers. So we don't get many iconographers in Australia. Anastasia learned the craft in Ukraine from her country back home. And she's been in Australia now for how long? 9 months, not even a year. And so yeah, we don't get many iconographers in Australia, but we have 2 here, and they're actually a couple, they're married, so it's very beautiful. And yeah, they've got a school they've started just recently. We've left cards at the front on either table as you walk in. It's their own personal cards for the school. It's a brand new school to teach iconography. Both of them will be teaching. And the class will be literally right here, just in one of the classes there. And they have other locations in Parramatta and the Archdiocese in Redfern. So Redfern, Coquitlam and Parramatta, their classes will be held. It's a great way to learn like a tradition of the church, 1,000+ year tradition. And it's with our good friends, so we can vouch for them. You're going to have fun and you're going to learn a beautiful skill. And anyone can do it. It's one of the things in the church anyone can do. So without further ado, Anastasia, thank you for coming. And maybe you can give a bit of a background on how you got into iconography, how you started, and we'll go from there.
Good evening to everyone. At the beginning, before I start to talk, I just want to say that I speak English only 3 years, and it's my first year in Australia, so my English is not perfect, but I hope you'll understand what I want to say. I started iconography in Ukraine, and I actually, when I was child or I was young, I never dreamed about iconography. I had no idea one day I'm gonna paint icons and churches. It happened just like, I think it was something from God, and He showed me this way through my parents or through situations in my life. Because actually I was going to be a piano player. I studied 11 years to play piano, and music was everything I wanted to do. It was like the most interesting thing in the life. I was playing every day, just non-stop, and all my neighbors already knew that it's me. Yeah, and but one day I started to draw just because of my sickness. When I was 11, I got very sick, and I was actually paralyzed, and I was in hospital for a few months, and it was time when there was no phones, no internet. I had no TV in my hospital, and I couldn't read because I was dizzy all the time. So I was very bored, and I couldn't, I had no idea what I'm supposed to do here for months, and every day just, by myself in the room in hospital. So I asked my mom.
Narrowing, not completed.
I asked my mom to bring me something what I can do, so she brought me pencils and paper, and I started to draw on the bed, and then when I learned to sit, I started to draw on the table. Okay, so I realized that it's also interesting to draw, not only music. But I thought it was just hobby. Anyway, after I recovered, I started to go to art school to learn how to draw just for myself. But all this time I was doing music. I was studying in music school, and I started to have plans how to go to music university, become music player. I was going to competitions for pianists, and I had friends, very talented friends, musicians, singers, and they was like they wanted to have to be professionals in music, okay? And I just wanted to be with them because of music. But then I saw that this company of my friends is really far from God, really far from church. And it was like first clue that I can't follow them. Something wrong there. And also because I was born in a priest family, so my father is a priest, and my brother is a priest, and like I never struggled how to find faith, because I was born like in the church. I was literally in the church every day, just with parents. And I was thinking, how can I stay in the church and do something for God and not fall from church? For example, if I choose music, I have to be like those people. Worldly, yes, because my friends, they had these parties for musicians, and they was like smoking, going clubs, and doing other stupid things. And when you're young, you want to be cool, you want to be different, so you start to do these stupid things. But then after a few years, you see that everyone around is doing this, and then you think, I want to be different. I don't want to be like everybody just do these stupid things. So I decided I don't want to follow them. And my father told me about, it was when I was 17, maybe, yeah, end of school. And father saw that I like to paint, but I have doubts because I also love music. I couldn't make my choice. And he just told me that there is a school for iconographers in Ukraine. So I have chance to use my talents and like serve to church. I think he worried for me to not take the wrong path, and I'm very thankful to him that he showed me this opportunity. And when I made my decision to start studying in iconography, okay, all my friends was against me. They told me, you're gonna destroy your life. You're so young. You can't go to this iconography school because in Ukraine, in the church and in all like theological college or seminary or iconography school, girls have to wear a scarf because it's tradition of our church. So my friends saw me wearing scarf, and they start to tease me, oh, you're gonna be nun, they're gonna lock you up in the monastery, in the church, you're gonna just destroy your life. And it was a big temptation for me, because I didn't want to lose my friends. At the same time, I saw that like they don't understand me. And then I decided to choose whatever I like, what I like more, what I feel is better. And life shows that if you deny something like these friends, somebody who tempt you, God will give you more after. Now I stay in the church, I have a beautiful profession, because I'm doing iconography professional. And I have so many friends who are in the church, and I don't have to make these difficult choices, to go to club or just go for the liturgy, something like this. Then I went to iconography school, which was not just simple course. It was 4 years studying full time. So from 9 in the morning to 4 or 5 in the evening was just painting icons every day for 4 years. And I always had feeling like it's still not enough for me. Even after I finished the school, I felt like it's so much to learn, and I was going to workshops of more professional iconographers, gilders, because like I always wanted to be better in my profession. And same time, I studied at university, pedagogical university, to be a teacher of fine arts. So I know both painting of art, like landscapes, people, animals, and iconography. And this really helps me because when you paint, for example, new icon of new saint or new iconography, there is no example to just print, trace, and color it. You have to make your own composition. And how you're gonna do this if you don't have enough skills, you don't have this knowledge of art too? I studied 5 years at university and 4 years in iconography school. And I did icons for churches, monasteries. Mainly my customers was bishops and priests, because I had so much work always. It's a blessing from God, because really when I choose iconography as my profession, I never had time when I didn't have work. Like I always had 1 year ahead orders, and it's big blessing. And I could choose which icon I want to do, which icon I don't want, because I try to do everything by rules, traditions, using traditional techniques and materials, and also have to follow church canons. Canons, it's a rule how we have to paint God or saints for or different holidays, feast days. Yes. So we can't change those rules, but still we have freedom to change colors, positions of hands or clothes. There are so many icons of Panagia or Christ when they have different expression on the face, and like it takes more. You need to be a more master to create art using rules, because like when you have rules, you have to really think how to make every icon different, how to not make it like copy, because iconographer is not just print machine. We can't stamp icons. Every icon is unique. You have to think how to make it special. Sometimes people want to draw icon like whatever they want, and this is wrong. Iconographers shouldn't do this. And even people, when people ask them, like I want to paint, like I had one time, one man came to me and he said, I had a dream. I saw Panagia, and she was talking to me, and she looked like this, and she had her hands like this, and I want you to draw this. I want you to make icon of what I saw. And obviously I said no, because we paint icons only that recognized by church. And now I'm in Australia because I met my husband, Costa. He's a iconographer too, and I think this is what united us. Same interest. It was Costa's idea to start iconography school because we saw that in Australia there is not many iconographers, and many priests have to call iconographers from Greece or other countries to do painting in the church. And there are so many Greeks here in Australia, in Sydney, so why shouldn't we just teach Orthodox people to paint icons, so we can build like a team of iconographers and work together around Australia and paint churches, because one iconographer can paint an icon, but when you need to paint church, you can't do it yourself. And we already did some work in the church in Goulburn, and we really, like, it's not enough just 2 people, especially if it's working out. So we hope that people who come to our school, they will learn iconography as professional. It will be not just hobby. So after, they can really make it their profession. Because our school is more, we call it advanced school of iconography, because I created my own program, which is for 3 years, and it's built this way that not just make people waste their time and paint icons like for hobby. So after they just, come home and show icon just to parents because they're embarrassed to show to anybody else, and parents say it's beautiful, but really it's not. And so, yeah, you can gain skills really to become professional, because I saw people who never draw in their life before, never painted, and then they become so good iconographers that everybody just amazed. And so what I think is best thing to do for me is to teach people proper way, because when I first time I came to my iconography school in Ukraine, we had very nice teacher, woman, and she said how important to be really serious about iconography. It's it's big step. It's you can't just paint anything, or you can't just give up, because in the Bible there are words that curse is on everyone who does work of God with slackness. And those words really stuck in my head, and I was thinking, I have to do everything what I can. I have to really try my best to be good iconographer, because we have to bring God everything what we can, like the best we have, all our talents we have to use to serve God for His glory. And in this case, you can't just paint icon and look at this and think good enough. It's never good enough. It always can be better, because we have to. Icon is have a window to heaven. So people will look at your icon and pray, and they will see God. And God is beautiful, and everything that we see beautiful, God made it. So we have to be worthy, we have to be professional, and we have to also try to live spiritual life, because it's not enough just be a good painter. We also have to confess, take communion, pray, because without this we don't have connection with God. Iconographer, it's person who have his relationship with God, and you can see it straight away on icon. When you look at icon, you know, when person did it just for hobby or just for money, or when person put all his heart in it, when person really spent time on icon and didn't rush and made everything perfect. You can see this straight away.
Can I ask a question? So, before you start work on an icon, is there a way you can spiritually prepare to do iconography?
Yes, before we, every day, before we paint icon, we pray, and it's not something like you prepare just once. It's your lifestyle. You have to pray every day before you work, and you have to have spiritual father, and of course you have to take communion and confess, because we have to clean our heart. Without this, we can't see what we paint. You know, otherwise it will be just art. Icon is not just art or hobby, like I said, because there are many courses. Like in every country, you can find the courses of iconography, which are short courses. And really, as a teacher, I understand you can't learn in short course. It's just for people who want to come, spend time with Orthodox people, have conversations and listen chantings. But in the end, the outcome is very bad quality. It's not the really icon, you know.
So I was once in Greece and I went to visit an iconographer, and they were in the middle of painting, and they were listening to music, and they would smoke and have the beer on the side. So obviously you need, as you said, spiritually be in a state of spiritual preparation every day.
Yes.
And it's, you know, if you follow that, as you said, the icon speaks for itself. Like I'm looking at that icon now, and it makes you want to pray to Christ. But there are some icons that you look at them and you don't. And then you look at the iconographer, and obviously there's something not right there, because they're not. It seems that they weren't inspired to do the iconography. It's more of a trade for them. Yeah. Like it is a trade, but at the same time, as you said, it's something more.
It's always distraction, you know. We live in a world. We have families. We have to make a living, but we have to try every day. Just pray and find this connection with God. Even when we start our work with Costa, we pray before, and then we put to listen chantings or lives of saints. So you have to always keep your mind like higher, you know. You can't listen music, just normal music when you paint icon, because you have to perfect. It's when you pray, when you paint, but it's very hard, you know. Even I'm not a monk or a priest, so it's very hard for me to pray all the time. We just listen lives of saints, like I said, or Bible or chantings, and this is how we do it. I can describe a little bit the school.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the microphone reception, but yeah, what kind of plan do you have for the school, and what will a normal class look like for a student?
We'll have 10 students in one class. Anybody who want to enroll, they can choose their location in Kogarah, Parramatta, or Redfern. And this course is 3-year course, and we don't paint icons straight away from the first lesson, because to start to paint icon, you have to have skills, and to have skills, you have to do exercises. You have to really train. And first year, it's mainly we're gonna learn how to draw parts of icon, not whole icon. We'll learn how to draw and sketch on the paper, and we'll learn how to prepare boards, or learn materials, and egg tempera. Egg tempera, it's ancient paint that's made of dry mineral pigments and egg yolk with white wine. So we mix all this together, and it's many techniques how to apply this paint. And we'll learn, like I said, parts of icon first, how to paint hair, how to paint clothes, mountain, water, how to paint faces, hands, legs, feet. So it's like we learn every piece. So after, when we have to paint big icon, full icon, we don't have problems. We don't stuck on these little things. And second year, it's actually painting icons. And third year, it's more difficult, more complicated icons, bigger composition and gilding. We'll learn different techniques of gilding. And after, in the end of this course, everybody will have certificate, and those students who really learn good, and they can paint icons already, not just for themselves or family, or they can paint it for churches. They will have blessing of Archbishop to work for churches. So this course is suitable for those people who want to paint icons for profession. Yes, because like I said, Australia needs iconographers, but good iconographers. I want to see good icons in church, because it's like my professional deformation. When I come in the church, I start to look for mistakes. Icons. I can't. It's also because I'm a teacher. I worked in art school with children too for a few years in Ukraine, and I can't just help myself. And I also will make sure that everyone in our school will understand their mistakes and understand how to fix them. I'm not gonna say it's so beautiful, it's mastership, if it's not. I'm not very strict, but I will say truth. Okay, it's for your own good.
Is there an age limit, like adults or kids?
No, 18 plus.
18 plus.
Yes.
So they have to be 18 and over?
Yeah.
Okay. What if they have permission from the parents? Okay.
Also, anybody can come to this course, because even who had experience in the past in art or iconography, it doesn't matter, or people who never painted before. I built my program in the way that we start from very simple tasks and very simple exercises to train the hand, because really hand is the instrument. And if somebody will see that it's too difficult for him, he can always leave and then come back after if he want. So it's not like you start, you have to finish, you know. Yeah. And if the person, student, try his best and does all tasks and try to finish icons that we have in the program, then in the end he will learn 100% how to paint, how to prepare a board, how to gild. Just everybody who want this, they have to be serious about this.
Got a question. Because you said you're an art teacher now versus iconographer. Everyone in this room who probably studied art at school, either by choice or force. You learn about art, and the word symbolism comes up, right? And I feel like with some of the art that you learn about that's got this word attached to it, some of the concepts with the abstract nature now can almost be perverted, lack of a better word, in terms of what you're taught at school. So I think my question would be, experiencing just being an art teacher versus an iconographer, where you're now in a position where there's been iconographers who created miracle work in icons and like moving towards this dimension of true symbolism. How would you explain the difference in your mindset working art versus iconography? And I think it could potentially relate to everyone in their own professions, having God with you versus not having God with you. That's not to say all art doesn't have God if you're producing other art, but that's the question. That makes sense.
Art, it's it's a big part of my life too, because I can paint anything. But I always was thinking that art just serve people, like to make them happy, to show the beauty of the world or show any social problem. But I was thinking it should be something bigger than this, than art, than just art as entertainment, you know. And iconography, it's something that eternal, because it's connected with God. So it really worth for artists to try to paint icon, because you will find more reason. It's more deep, the icon. Yeah, like you never get enough of iconography. Like it's so many things to think about when you paint icon, and also for every iconographer, it's good to be artist. So he know this. Artist knows rules of composition, of the color, and he can express his experience with God. He can express it better. He have more tools, more skills. And actually on Ethos, where my husband learned to paint icons, monks who taught him, there was a real artist before, so they had this background of art. That's why they became the best iconographers now known in Orthodox world. And also when I worked with kids, I tried to tell them about icon in my way. We painted some parts of ancient fresco and icon with kids, and we did patterns from ancient Greek mosaics, and these geometrical patterns, mosaics for the floor. So kids was amazed. Nobody tell them about this Greek ancient art and Orthodox art. So I think people happy when they find how deep is this, how interesting is iconography and icon. Just nobody tell them, nobody teach kids about this. I grew up with priests, and I didn't know myself. I thought that only monks paint icons, you know. And when my father told me, yeah, I was like surprised, and I think it's a very special thing, iconography, and really it's not for, I understand it's not for everyone, because you have to have patience and you have to be in church and live spiritual life. So it's not for everyone, but as soon as you try this, you will be like in love with iconography. This is how I feel.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Did you want to say
Another
something?
question. Are you allowed, because obviously with art you're allowed to express your art through any type of forms, or you're not really governed by any laws you're allowed to express yourself in art. Do you have the same freedom to express yourself with iconography, like with different colors or different depictions, or do you have to follow certain rules, guidelines?
Yes, we have freedom inside the canon. There is canon, it's like rules, but it's borders. But inside these borders, you can go different way, you know. And I painted icons of new saints, 20th century, and for those saints you don't have icon to copy, you have only photo. So we can look at other icons of monks, for example, see how they look like and what we can draw on the icon, but same time we look at the lifetime photo of new saint, and we can change things, we can add details like Saint Paisios or Saint Porphyrios. We can say straight away who is this, because of freedom in the icon.
But are you allowed to show them, like, because you have photos where they're smiling, are you allowed to depict that in an icon, or do you have to follow like that strict format? Like I'm looking at the icon of Jesus Christ. Did you want to show that icon to everybody?
We'll put them on the table after and you can have a closer look, but it's one of Anastasia's first icons.
Because that has like a strict look about, like a ascesis, like, you know, are you allowed to depict the saint smiling, or?
Icon really should show no emotions, but sometimes you can. It depends on person who painted, or your feelings inside, like in your heart. Sometimes I'm the same person. I paint icons and faces look different. I don't do this on purpose. It just happens. And now when I know how to do this, I can change expression of the face a little bit, but it always should be like spiritual expression. They can't really smile or like be very strict, but sometimes, for example, of icon crucifixion of Christ, we can see that Panagia is crying, and when it's the remission of Panagia, she's sleeping. And when we paint scenes of lives of saints of Panagia or Christ, we have to show a little bit what they felt, or we show their feelings too. But it can't be like too much. too much emotions. The icon can't laugh or smile too much, you know.
Do you want to say something, Father?
Yeah, I was thinking of one
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I really liked how you mentioned about that you pray before you start the painting the icon, because even and how you said that the icon shouldn't show too much of an expression, but it's so important what she said about praying before the icon, because that's the basis of what the icon becomes. Just to share a little thing, I remember my spirit father, before he left for Mount Athos, he passed through Burazeri, which is where some of the best icons in the world come from. They're absolutely amazing. And he took a photo with just a little like Nokia phone, and it came out amazing, the photo, and it was of Christ on the cross. And the monk that was painting this was very poor. He was also very young. And when you look at this icon, because I have it as a canvas now in my room, when you look at it, when you look at Christ on the cross, you can, even though there is no expression, but you can understand that the love that this monk probably had while he was painting the icon, or the amount of love that he had for Christ, it is shown in the icon, and it can have an effect on us as people, you know. So you can follow all the guidelines, but I think what you said, if you don't pray, the icons can come out looking very strange, even if you follow the guidelines. Is that correct?
Yes, when you look at the icon, icon helps you to pray. It has to give you this like mood for prayer. You know, I don't know if I say right.
Yes.
This special spiritual mood, you know. And if you look at the icon and it's like that, you know, it means that something went wrong with iconographer or during painting icon.
I was going to ask something similar, because obviously there's a mystical element in doing iconography, and like you said, sometimes you're painting the same icon, but the face is different. But obviously you're following the same rules and everything. Do you think there is like a divine occurrence when you're painting the icons in some circumstances, like something out of your control, and God is involved? Obviously God is involved in the process, but or maybe have you experienced anything where you're painting an icon and you feel something?
I try to not think too much about feelings, you know, to not be deceived, because it's like it can be dangerous too. But obviously that talents that we have, it's from God, and wherever we're doing, it's with God's assistance. Sometimes I feel like when I paint icon and I finish it, I just look at this and I don't know, I can't remember exactly how this happened, how I painted this. Like I remember, but I don't. I have feeling like it was God help, of course, because by myself, I don't know. I don't know if I could do this by myself. I pray to God to help me when I paint icons, because even now I paint icons since 2010, but still I have difficulties, and sometimes it's temptations or just I'm not careful. Many problems can happen on icon. You have to, for example, you have to gild over again, or you have to take off the paint, scratch off, change the sketch, start over again. And you know, in these moments, I feel like I really need help. I need God to help me to finish this. And I even put cross on icon. I asked God, please help me, because some icons, I don't know why, some icons can be painted very fast and easy. You just like sit and in 1 week it's finished. But sometimes some icons are like problem icons. For example, one icon I can't finish for like a few months. I gild and then I have to gild again, or change the sketch, or the customer asks to change something again. So I don't know why this happens. I just know that if I wouldn't pray, I couldn't do nothing.
Does anyone have a question? Yeah.
Do you use a special type of wood, or can you choose anything that you paint on?
Yes, for the board, the base of icon, the perfect wood, it's linden. In English, I just I'm not sure. Linden, and so whole icon it's linden, and on the back we can see pieces of wood that hold all icon together and prevent the icon bending. Yeah, so those pieces it's oak tree, and proper icon it's icon on wood, and then it has to be a cloth like cheesecloth, and then we put levkoma. We call it levkas in Ukrainian. So it's white chalk powder with rabbit skin glue, and and it's like primer. And after this, we do a sketch on the board, and then we gild. It's different techniques of gilding, and after this, we start paint icon with pigments. New pigments now, they are very fine, very thin, so we can just mix them straight away with egg. But in Ukraine, we use pigments that are really mineral pigments from the ground. So it's like rocks or crystals, and we have to grind them on the glass, with glass, like between two pieces of glass. We have to grind them with the egg. And when we paint icon, we have to protect it with oil varnish, oil-based varnish. Yeah, now we can do it with acrylic varnish. It's new technique, but traditional, it's everything natural for icon, what we use.
So how long would it take you to do an icon like this?
For me, like with my experience, I can make it in paint in 1 week, but preparations take longer. Like to make the board takes few weeks, because you can't rush with board and levkoma, because otherwise it's gonna crack. You have to let it dry, and gilding takes time, and sketch. Just painting, it doesn't really take long.
And then do you have to allow it to dry once you
Yes.
paint the icon?
Yeah, you have to let it dry on every step. For gilding, you have to apply varnish and let it dry a few days, and then you gild, and then you varnish again. Yeah, so it's like many steps. You can't make it fast or paint one icon in one evening or in a few nights. You know, it's impossible, because if you don't follow technology after, it will start come off the board. I have no question.
I was just gonna say, like, have you used like real gold before when painting icons?
Yes, we use real gold, 24 karat. It's a very thin leaf of gold and very delicate. So for this, for gilding, we need special tools, or we use gold that's already transfer gold, like it's stuck on the paper. It's more easier, and also it's some another like fake gold. But it's not good for icon, because in a few years it will start to become dark or have dark spots. So the best thing to use original materials, traditional.
Yeah.
For some icons in some churches, like they're quite high up in the actual church, so how do you go about painting the ones that are close to the roof and things like that?
For these cases, we need scaffolding. Yeah, or icons can be painted on canvas. This is how iconographers from Greece do iconography for Australia. They just paint it in Greece on canvas, and they come here and they stick it on the wall and then paint around the background. But this is not easier because we already tried to do this, and it's also difficult. Wall have to be really prepared for this. It has to be smooth, and yeah, and of course on the roof it's the most difficult part, because when you glue it, it's weight and it can start fall off. So you have to really hold it good. And I also painted my father's church, and there I painted everything on the wall, and one roof is just flat like here, so it's very difficult for the neck. Yeah, it's painful, and you have to always just look up and paint. Sometimes it's hard physically, or if you want scaffolds, for example, I painted in Ukraine one cathedral with other iconographers, and I had to climb up and down like, I don't know, 100 times a day, because paint was downstairs, and I have to go up or take water or tea, whatever, and like, it's very difficult. It's like the best gym. Yeah. And I also have some works here. Maybe after talk you can come and see closer. It's examples of what we will do first here. Those boards, it's a thin, we call them tablets. It's same left comma, like on icon. So students can learn how to apply egg tempera on real lefkas, like as if they paint on icon. But they don't paint icons straight away because it's too complicated, and we'll paint just pieces of building, water, mountains, trees, or clothes, then something more complicated, like scene from Life of Saint. And this, it's miniature. So we also have to learn how to paint something really small, because it's different techniques to paint something big, like big face, and for small face it has to be like you have to just skip some things, and also to make your hand steady, and like to train your hand, we will do different exercises to make straight line, for example, not using ruler, or make same wave so it doesn't change as you go, and like parts of patterns, how to do writings on icons, because it's very important. Sometimes icon is painted very good and professional, but writings are crooked or just not clear, so it wrecks whole impression. This is some parts of manuscripts from the Bible. This is what we did in my iconography school. We just copied pages of handwritten Bible. So yeah, we can learn different fonts and the patterns. It's all made with brush.
So calligraphy.
Yes, calligraphy, yeah, or different letters, because there are so many styles of letters in iconography. In every century they had their own style. And we learn color first on paper, not on icon. So we will do some exercises, copy icons, just to learn how to mix the right color, and we'll learn how to make patterns, and some mountains, sketch of mountains are really difficult. Even sometimes I have problem too with mountains. No problem, it takes time to understand. And we'll do sketch of icons with the brush, not just also with pencil, but the brush is more difficult because pencil is steady, brush is moving, the tip. So we have to train to do this. And the more exercises like this we do, the more we have skills for the icon. Yes, technique.
Yeah.
I just got another question. When you make icons, does it have to include a saint or Christ or one of the other, or can it just be a church?
If it's only church, it's not icon. It's like church art. If it's painted in iconography style, but icon, it's image of saint or God. Or sometimes we need to paint church on the icon, or add church, like we look at the photo of real church and we have to make it to iconography picture, like iconographic style. I'm doing the icon like this at the moment for the monastery. And we also will learn this, how to show on icon something that's not from icon, like how to paint a cup on icon, or even the chair, or whatever, like bag or flower. It's a way how to transform real picture to iconographic picture. And it's stylization, so I'm gonna teach you this too.
Does anyone have any other questions? Yeah. The difference between Slavic style and Greek Orthodox.
Yes, in Ukraine they have like their own local Ukrainian style, and it's different to Greek. But when I started, from iconography school, I always liked more Byzantine style. I just don't know. It's more closer to me. But I think I have some, like it still influenced me. I still maybe sometimes have a little bit like expression of a Ukrainian icon. It's same canons, just a little bit different way how to show clothes and face and patterns. Like every country have their own style. Romania has very beautiful style. It's Byzantine style, but you can say that it's Romanians painted this icon. But Greek Byzantine icon, it's I think it's example for everyone, for every iconographer. This is how we learn. This is where icon came from. And also, I forgot to mention that we'll have lessons of iconology it's a history of icon, of church art, and canons will learn symbols on the icon, iconography of different saints, different church feast days. Yeah, so you have to not only paint, you have to know rules, how to paint any icons. We'll learn the main types of icons and talk about them and watch pictures and discuss the difference in style, difference in places where those icons was painted.
Does anyone have maybe one final question? One thing you want to ask? I've got a few. I saw your hand go up first. So.
What part of the icon do you start sketching?
What part of icon I start to sketch? As an art teacher, I can say that it's wrong to start sketch from eye or from lips or something. We have to start from whole big shape. We have to show, find the shape, right proportions, and then we just roughly find where eyes and nose, and then every line we go around many times until we find a very clear line. So we don't start just from one piece, one side, and go another side, you know, because then it will be wrong proportions and you can't just guess like this. So the right way to start from big shape and then find details.
We'll do one more question.
Are all icons painted, or could you do other mediums? Like, have you ever done mosaic of an icon?
I never done mosaic. I always wanted to learn, but I didn't have chance. I didn't have a teacher. I couldn't find it. It would be good if I find somebody to learn.
Is that called something else, or is it still iconography?
Sorry.
Is it still called iconography if you're doing mosaic, or is it
Yes.
something else?
Yes, because it's same image of God of saint. It's just different material, and actually mosaic is more difficult because with paint you can move, you can change things, and it's more easier. With mosaic, it's more difficult to move pieces when they're already stuck to each other, you know. And to make really good mosaic. It takes really like you need to have skills, and it's like I don't know how to explain. It's also like painting mosaic. If you really know how to use colors, how to make colors smooth, how to blend colors, because with paint it's easy to blend colors. With mosaic you have to make this gradient, and it takes more time. I don't know. It's more difficult.
We're going to do the front of the church a mosaic of the resurrection. So we bought it from a monastery in Greece, a female monastery. They're going to do the mosaic of the resurrection and send it in pieces, and we're going to put it up on the. So it'll look beautiful. Very nice.
What's the material of mosaic?
Mosaic, it's glass with pigment. For golden background, it's two pieces of glass, like two layers of glass, and gold leaf between them. And they pressed and they like baked together. So if you look at this gold piece, yes, it's like gold leaf inside the glass. Other colors, it's glass mixed with pigment, or it can be pieces of natural rocks. Yeah. But to make mosaic also, again, you have to be iconographer. You have to know how to make sketch and understand colors and shades and lights, everything. It's same thing, but more long process.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
This is not about iconography, but do a lot of young people go to church in Ukraine or in Australia? It's another question.
When you look at Hogara youth, it looks like it's here it's more young people, and in Ukraine, I think in Ukraine it's less young people in the church, and actually here in the church I see families with children, and I think it's beautiful. Here it's like tradition in every family of Orthodox family to go to church. In Ukraine, some families are traditional Orthodox, they go together to church, but I think it's more older people in the church in Ukraine.
Similar, yeah. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. I just want to reiterate as well, Anastasia said, I don't know if he's caught it. I'll just say it again because Costa will be teaching as well. Right? So Costa learned iconography on Mount Athos. So I think we've spoken about Mount Athos a bit here. It's the peninsula, a mountain in Greece, restricted to men or male monasteries. And Costa spent months there learning iconography in a monastery. And the monks are the best at that craft. And so, if, this school that they've started, the skills they're bringing, they're just enormous amount of skill together. And they're coming together to present. So, yeah, we'll hand out the cards, but the cards will be at the front anyway if you're interested. And we've tagged the school on Instagram, so you can look at more work there. And we'll spread the icons out on one of the tables, or even here, and you can look at the icons. Yeah, thank you, Anastasia. Can we give her a round of applause?